Welcome back to the second video on Poplar Farms, and before we continue, I need to return all the leased kit. I just want to check hours and costs and things. So tractor is on 8 hours still because we didn't really end up using it with the way I edited the trailers. The two forage harvesters are on 3 and a bit hours, and in terms of leasing costs, they were pretty high. They're like 140 grand's worth of leasing costs, and we had to borrow a fair bit of cash. So yeah, and about 8 grand's worth of worker time. So let's return the leased stuff that we've got. Interesting that the trailers cost pretty much the same. Yeah, everything cost about the same to lease. Awesome. Right, let's jump in the Deutz and go grab the fertilizer spreader, and we're going to start the process of refertilizing the fields. And basically what I'm hoping is that I can get a layer of fertilizer down now. As soon as they regrow, get another layer of fertilizer down, get both fertilization states done, then skip ahead to the best crop price, get everything sold, get the loan paid off, and then just keep going until we find out how long it takes to regrow. I'm not sure if it will be in this video yet because I'm just starting to record it, but in the background I'm also starting to record the footage for the grass silage experiment, and what I'm planning to do is I'll then edit that in at the end with the commentary over the top, and we'll see how that compares. No we want full working width, please. Control Z. There we go. Because that's going to be quite a long experiment, I think I'm going to do that slightly differently. So we're going to try and condense that footage into something of a reasonable length, but I'll talk over the top of it so we get a coherent video. The plan for that, based on feedback from a bunch of my regulars on my normal videos, is that the way I'm going to do that is we'll do 3 cuts of grass and try and get it as close as possible to the 2.5 lots of yield you would expect when grass is not bugged out. So if you're not aware, currently grass yield is bugged, and you get maximum yield for both harvest ready states, which is not correct. You should only get half yield for the first one. So I'm going to try and account for that in what I do, so that this series of videos is useful when giants fix that bug. If you're playing while the bug is still valid, then you can account for that and think that you could get a little bit more of whatever we end up making from the grass silage earlier on. When it gets fixed, I'll try and remember to come back to these videos and add a pinned comment to let people know, I guess. But who knows when they'll actually get around to fixing it. So I should have checked that we are actually buying fertilizer. We are, which is good. So yeah, we need to do 2 first states. That's it. We don't need to do lime. They will show they need ploughing, but you will see when we do the second harvest that we get the same yield. So because that's something that I've tested, we don't get the penalty for needs ploughing with Poplar, which is good. And yes, they will regrow. I have seen some people being surprised that they regrow on other Facebook pages. And you do get the same yield bonus if you use the bio baler as using the forage harvester. I think the other there were some interesting comments on the first video that seeing this convinced people to not do poplar, which was interesting, because of the amount of time that it took to grow. I think, and it's like, well, you can afford to set aside the land. It's a huge amount of return versus any normal crop. I think we'll see that when I do the grass silage, because grass silage is the next most profitable thing you can grow. But we'll see. I might be wrong. Anyway, I'm going to get this fertilization done. I'm pretty sure I can buy fertilizer from the lime point over at the farmers market over there. So I'll get this done. I'll probably be back once it's grown a state and we can do the next one, and then yeah, we'll carry on. It's August, the crop's grown, so let's try and get the second fertilization state on. Hopefully we can. Yep, awesome. And then we can just sleep until it's ready. The other thing that I found weird with some of the comments was the idea of having to wait until December to sell the wood chips. Now, I don't think that's that unusual. Have to wait until much later in the year to have to sell your crops. And we'll have a look in a moment once we get on a bit of a run that we can have a look at that. My recollection is that a lot of crops in the game, you actually have to wait until later in the year to get a good price. If I could remember how things worked. Prices. Barley, best price, December. Canola, best price, November. Red beets, best price, January. Soybeans, best price, June, but you harvest them not in June. So, yeah, I found that kind of weird, that a reason not to do poplar was that we are having to wait from when we harvested them to when we sell them. Let's go potatoes. Potatoes you harvest quite late in the year, but look at wheat, best price, December. Yeah. Now, maybe it's because people don't always play with seasonal growth on, and if that's the case, then yeah, maybe you're not used to that. But if equally, there's a really handy mod that you can use if you don't want to have to do that. It's called Guaranteed Crop Prices. Thoroughly recommend it, and what that will do is that will give you the best price every month for every crop, because as I said, waiting for a good price for your crops is a pretty standard thing in Farming Simulator, as far as I'm aware anyway, for, as I said, for the majority of crops. So yeah, that seemed to me to be a very weird reason to not want to grow this crop. I really don't care if you do or don't want to grow poplar. It's not like I make commission on people choosing to grow it or not. I just think it's potentially very profitable. I think we might be able to get the other field over there fertilized with this much, and then I'll go buy some more. It was pretty expensive to refill the spreader from the silo, but we can then maybe put about 50% in to do the big field, and then we just need to sleep until it's ready to harvest. And then there's just the simple matter of harvesting all 3 fields again. Well, and actually no, we need to sleep until January. I'm just rabbiting on about best price, but until we get the best price, or a good price. And yeah, then we'll come back and sell everything, make a buttload of money, and all will be well. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that you can fertilize it in harvested and then first growth state, and then ignore it until it's ready. But we'll be back when we're selling, and that's when I'll see you next. Well, we are in January, and the poplar is growing. We'll see what that looks like when we get over there. We check time-saving stock check. The poplar price is just over £1,000 per 1,000 litres, or the wood chip price. So we're looking at 2.9 million euros for our crop. That's for Goldcrest Valley, which we're probably not going to do because I think that involves using the train. But if we go into prices and look at wood chips, we can go to the farmer's market and get pretty much the same price, and that's right next to us. So let's go into here. We're going to go to trailers, and we are going to lease one of these guys. I've still got it set to the cheaty 2 million litre capacity because for this test, life is too short. If you're doing this kind of scale of poplar farming, you might want to do something similar. So I'll see you back at the farm. And here we are. So the poplar has not really grown a lot. Not sure when we're going to get to harvest it. We'll see. Is what it is, you know. But let's get our current crop sold. We'll get the loan paid off, and then I'll just be skipping ahead to when we can sell it. Not sure where the loading point is. Looks like it could be here, but it looks like it might not be. So there we go. Start filling. Find our poplar. It's going to be a really big number. There we go. Or our wood chips, sorry. Might take a while to load up 2 million litres of the stuff. Yeah, so we're going to the farmer's market sell point. Let's come in here. Let's tag that so I make sure I go to the right place. And yeah, time to recoup that money that we've invested. Let's just jump out here, have a look at the state of our field. So yep, we're looking at a 70% yield bonus. I don't know what it was last time. Does say needs ploughing, does say needs rolling. We've already seen in a previous video of mine that this yield bonus is wrong, can be wrong. So I'm not going to really pay much attention to that, but it was worth a look. I'll be back when this is filled up because it's going to take a while. And we are full. Off we go. Let's go make some money. A £2 million dollars or euros trailer. Yeah. Omatana, if you're watching, maybe make a really stupid capacity version of your trailers, because a 2 million litre version would be kind of nice for this kind of thing. I'm sure people would appreciate it. 200,000 litres is a lot, but 2 million litres is really nice. Yeah. Good for doing silly amounts of poplar farming, definitely. I wouldn't recommend actually farming this much poplar. I think you'd probably go slightly crazy, but unless you set yourself up with some really cheaty kit. Well, why not? If you want, if that's how you want to play, that's how you want to play, you know. For my intended poplar farming, I will be doing things at a slightly smaller scale, but watch the money flow. This is going to be rather a huge transaction. I hope they have lots of cash on hand or in the bank. I'll take cash in the. I'll take a digital transfer. That'll be fine. Might have forgotten to increase the tip rate. Actually, I think I increased it for side tipping, but maybe not back tipping. Can't remember. There's 390,000 already. There we go. That's better. Yep. Look at all that lovely monies coming in. Yeah, that'll do. I'll take that. That's a nice little bit of cash, isn't it? But basically snoozing on the porch for a big chunk of time. That is so one of the considerations with farming poplar you are essentially setting aside land for quite a long time. But it means you don't have to do a lot of work. So, works both ways. You're making more money for doing less work. I think we'll find that out in a bit. Well, in a bit for you, in a lot more work for me, because I've got to do the hours of gameplay. So I ended up tweaking the silo a bit so that this is going to be a much faster operation, because this is all taking quite a long time, and it's all about proof of concept, not about me putting in hours and hours. I've already put in hours and hours. So anyway, we'll see. This is much quicker. See? Brilliant. Oh, can't remember which mod it is, but the placeable triggers mod released, that would be brilliant for buildings like this. You could make it into a silo or something. You're actually playing on here properly. I don't need that, but it would be good. Right, let's make the last of our cash. And pay the loan off. Not bad. So into the finances tab. Loan gone. And we are sat at £2.84 million. And our harvest income was 2.89 million. Not bad. And we've got the farmland still. So let's go back into here. Vehicles. Let's return that. And I will see you all at harvest time. It's November. The poplar is ready again. So both times it's been 16 months to get to a harvest. Cool thing is, this time we're going to have to wait a couple of months to be able to sell it. So, yeah. It's going to have been 3 Januaries since the March that we planted. So that's the comparison that we'll do for the grass silage. So essentially we'll do 3 seasons worth of cutting grass. But enough rambling. Let's get ourselves sorted. So we're going to, I'm just going to lease these again. I know that's really a bit of a waste, but from a comparison point of view, I think it makes sense. So, although we brought stuff on the other one, that's what I'm going to do. So, and then the same trailer again. I'm just going to do 2 this time. Let's get those over to the field and get on. Much like last time, I am going to get the workers to do this because it's a heck of a job. And, yeah. Seems like the sensible thing to do to me. We're going to leave it on auto working with, and I am going to bump up the number of headlands a little bit to 4 and get this guy going. He wants his lights on. Wow. Okay. Gee. Off you go, love. You do your thing. With the expanded capacity trailers, they will be able to harvest these whole fields without having to unload, which is kind of the point of me making them much bigger. Because I didn't want to have to fuck about with the unloading again, because that was a lot of work last time. Well, the one time that I did it. No, there we go. 4 headlands. Yep. Off you go. Each. off you go. Cool. So we're going to get all of this harvested. Hopefully. Go on, off you go. Not going to have the problem I had last time of running out of cash partway through. So, yeah, I'll see you some amount of time later. I'm guessing in about 3 hours. It won't actually be 3 hours. It'll be probably tomorrow for me in real time. And we'll see how we get on finishing the silage harvest. I think I'm going to do the grass one as a separate video because I would like to get this video done, and we'll wrap up. It's a silage wrap up. We'll wrap up Poplar, and then next time we'll tackle how the silage does, because I think getting 3 years worth of silage harvesting done gonna take a little while. I just want to have a look. Actually, I think it's probably going to say, do we still have a statistics page? We do. It's probably going to say we're on year 4, because to get to March I had to skip a chunk of time to get to the planting bit. But when we sell, we will be on our 3rd January. So come on. Come on, love. You can do it. Oh, I got the wrong trailers. I got the wrong trailers. Which of you spotted that? I'm going to go fix this because I'm dumb. And carry on with harvesting. What you get when you're yapping too much. Yeah. I'm going to fix these trailers. Get this harvest done. See you all in about 2.8 million litres worth of wood chips time. Got the trailers fixed. Have got the 2 small fields harvest. We've got 1.4 million litres in the silo, and I thought I'd show you that I am genuinely harvesting the fields. Well, the workers are genuinely harvesting the fields. Sped it up because it does take quite a while. Yeah, but I know not everyone likes a time lapse. I'm not a big fan of a time lapse. So rather than just having some music over the top, I thought I'd come back and waffle and ramble to you. I have a suspicion, I'm not certain because I haven't checked the numbers yet, but I will do before we wrap up. And in fact, we'll see when we wrap up. I think I might have got a bit more off the first 2 fields. I'm not sure why, but it feels like we got a little bit more, and that's kind of crazy. You'll see the really weird way that the AI workers harvest stuff as well. Not sure. Well, I think from the way they drive, it seems like they try and limit themselves to staying in the field. And what that means is with 4 headlands set, every time they turn around, they tend to take like a random scoop out of the field. You've probably seen this when you're playing yourselves, but with the poplars, it looks really weird. When they were harvesting the little field to our right now, I can't remember what number it is, and where I'm watching the playback of the clip, it's too small for me to read. At one point they just did a random diagonal cut all the way across the field, but they got it done, and even without speeding it up this time, actually they're getting through the harvest quicker than they did last time, which is pretty good. In terms of sorting out the trailer capacities, that was pretty easy. I went into the vehicles XML file and just gave it the right config number. Yeah, so this is, you know, they're going to get through this pretty quickly. But then, given how close we are to January, I'll skip ahead to January when we finish. Well, actually, we'll see how much we're going to get. We'll then progress to January, get everything sold, see how much we end up with. We will have done 3 seasons worth or summers worth of work. So I haven't done it yet, but I will then, for video 3, we'll do 3 seasons worth of grass silage in these 3 fields and see what that does. I've had another dumb idea, and some of you might think it's a good idea, some of you might be sitting there shaking your heads or with your heads in your hands. Pretty curious what would happen if we took that £1,000,000 we had at the start, invested it in greenhouses, and grew, and we made a £1,000,000 lettuce farm and did that for 3 years, and what kind of return on investment that would give us, and how it would compare to the return on investment we got from doing this. Yeah, let me know what you think about that. Might be a completely dumb idea, might be an idea you think you absolutely hate, but I am really curious as to whether £1,000,000 worth of lettuce greenhouses over 3 years would make more than we've made doing the poplar farming or the silage farming. I don't know how much land we'd need to buy versus how many greenhouses we could get, that kind of thing. I definitely would be looking to use universal auto load for that, which, if you're curious, I don't think it's on ModHub yet, but it is on Loki's GitHub. So oh, you need to select the trailer, don't you? Yeah, noob. There we go. Yeah, so that is the thing that you can do. The alternative is that I would be looking at maybe using the liftable pallets mod and editing the content of the liftable pallets so that they hold a heck of a lot more, so we don't end up playing Pallet Simulator, which, to be honest, if you're going to do £1,000,000 worth of greenhouses, you're probably inevitably going to end up doing. So where are we at the moment? We are at 1.9 million litres, and we are 900,000 litres, so we're going to end up with a little bit more, I think, than last time, but probably about the same amount. So I've not been quite so fussy about cleaning up the edges because it's in the hundreds of litres, and really this is not about the hundreds of litres, this is about the millions, or the, you know, at least tens of thousands of litres of wood chips. So yeah, I did say in the previous clip that I was going to go back and look at what I got off the individual fields, but this is about macro scale farming, not whatever it is between micro and macro. So yeah, we are definitely going to be, I think, more, at least we're at least the same as we got before. So that shows you that we're not getting hit by the yield penalty of having the needs ploughing requirement, which was one of the reasons for doing the second harvest. The other one was to see how long we had to wait. So yeah, my next set of gameplay, I was going to say job, but it's not a job, is it? It's fun. And I'm partway through that. I say partway through it. I've got all of these fields on another save planted with grass, not yet rolled, is to repeat this process with grass silage. And as I said, we are now approaching our third winter of playing. The game says we're in the 4th year because I skipped through to March, which was the 2nd year to start the play, and I've done the same in that one. I started in March, so you'll see in the next video that we're in March and we're planting grass, so that it's fair and equal. And from that point in March, we're going to go through and do as much silage harvesting as we can up to this same point. And as I've debated about in these 2 videos and in some of my normal Let's Play videos, to deal with the fact that grass is currently bugged and you get the same yield off of the first and the second harvest ready state, we're going to try and make it as if the bug is fixed as much as I can. So we're going to do 2 full cuts, and then I'm going to try and make the 3rd cut of the year as close to a half cut as I can. And then we're just going to repeat that for 3 cycles. And realistically, I could do it once and multiply by 3. But I'm not that kind of person, am I? You know that. I know that. So, unless I get really, really bored, and I might, but we'll see. I'd rather not do that. But it's not going to change, is it, once we've done it once? Although it might, because we're planting in March, so the first set might be later. So I'm going to do it properly, in inverted commas, and then I really do like the idea of the £1,000,000 lettuce farm as well. So we might have a play with that as well. As we trundle towards the end of our last row, I am just going to let the worker finish this. In terms of costs, our leasing costs look pretty similar to me. Worker costs are lower, which is kind of nice. Let's say it finished quicker. I think that's maybe because there was a bit less faffing around. I didn't do what I did last time, and I didn't even, I think I said in the last video, I did end up tweaking, actually maybe, so I did a lot of the background on my laptop where it didn't have the edited worker speed. I wasn't paying attention. It might have at the end here had the 12k per hour speed for the poplar harvester, but that was only just been this last little bit. The vast majority of the work has been done on my laptop where we didn't have that edit, so yeah. So let's have a look. 2.882. Bear with me 1 second. I've just been and checked the start of this video, which you have been watching very recently with me as well. Okay, we were 2.884 last time. That's the difference, I think, between me not cleaning up properly. So we're basically the same. So let's return the least stuff. Yes, you can see we saved a little bit on leasing costs, particularly as we only leased the one trailer, which is cool. Some of you might be a bit fussed that I'm not doing my normal in-depth analyses today, but let's say this is about kind of the macro scale of things on this. So if we were to be repeating the process, which we're not, we would be fertilizing this to start again, but I'm not going to this time. We just want to get to January to sell. So let's go visit Grandad Walter. Visit and sleep, and basically we're just going to keep an eye on time saving, stock check, and the prices, and get to the point where at the start of a month there is a reasonable price, and we will sell everything and we will declare victory. So 888 currently, so we will sleep again. So there are some differences in the next video. I have brought more kit. There is a good reason for that. That is that with grass silage and with doing it for 3 years, things like the mowers and the baler, we're going to put a lot more hours on. And so I felt it was better to buy those than to lease them. 993. I think that is good, and it's the farmers market. That is good enough for government work. So let's lease ourselves the trailer again. Let's get the correct one. My philosophy with leasing versus buying, if you're a regular, you will know this. If it's something you're going to use for a very short amount of time, you should lease it. Particularly if it's something you're going to use for a very short amount of time and then not need it for ages, you should lease it. If it's something that you're going to be using often and for a lot of time, you should buy it. And so that's the approach I've taken on here. And I'm taking the same approach on the grass one. So that's why there's a difference. But that does mean that I've spent more on equipment. And equally, we've needed to buy, and you'll see, we've had to buy a bigger tractor because we need a tractor that can run mowers. Whereas on here, all we needed to do was plant and fertilize and then harvest. So, yeah. There is a difference, but that difference, I think, is valid in terms of what you needed. So, yeah. Now, you could argue, that to run a farm you need a tractor anyway. So, but I think if it's marginal, then we can have that discussion. Don't think it's going to be marginal. So I don't think we're going to be having that conversation. Off we go. I'll see you back at the farm with the trailer. Well, we're back at the farm and we're going to get loaded up, get sold, and then we're going to have a look at some stats of how long we've been playing and that kind of thing. That will include, because I am not always super efficient, sometimes where the save's been sat with me not paying attention. So, yep, that is something to bear in mind. But I think, you know, we've got... Let's get to the wood chips. So this tractor's got 8.5 hours on it. Let's call it that. The leased tractor that we had to do planting, and it doesn't really matter because we were running them in parallel. So 8.5 hours in this tractor. We have done 2 harvests that between them took about 6 hours. So what's that? Let's call it 9 plus 6. Let's say 15 hours in total. And we'll find out in a moment how much money we have made in 15 hours of gameplay. Yeah, that was where I wanted to go. Let's loop round. And we can then put it in terms of millions of pounds per hour of gameplay. That's how you want to think of it. And we can also do it in terms of millions of pounds per month. But I think either way, it's going to be pretty good. So we'll just go grab the rest of the money. Not the money, the wood chips. I mean, it is money ultimately, isn't it? Weather is so grim here today. Yeah. But it might be another bit of a gap before the other next video comes out, because I've got to do all of the gameplay, obviously. And I want to do that in a single video. It feels like it should be a single video to me. So yeah, bear with me. But I think in terms of the Poplar, we've demonstrated that yes, it really is as profitable as it looks. Really does pay rather well. So we've played for 16, 32. All right, no, 16, yeah, 32, 34 months since we planted the crop. Because we had to wait 16 months each time to be harvest ready, and then 2 more months to sell this last one. So 34 months. Just shy of 3 years. And we've only got 3 fields, remember. And so I've got my calculator poised. And I'm not going to account for, you know, we had £1 million at the start, but we spent all of that. So 5.59 million pounds over 15 hours of gameplay, roughly. We made 0.37 million pounds per hour we were playing. Not bad, is it? 5.59 million divided by, I said 34 months, didn't I? Or 164,000 pounds per month. That's from 3 fields. That's without any animals or doing anything else or doing any contracts or any of that kind of thing. So, because I know some of you will sit there going, yeah, well, I can make that in a month, every month anyway. But that's just from 3 fields. From 3 fields of this size. So bear with me while the game saves. We had 3.4, 2.5. Let me just add that up. 3.4 plus 2.5 plus 5.3. We had about 11.5 hectares of field. And in 3 years, we've made £5.5 million. Just farming those 3 fields. I don't think you can do that with anything else. I'm going to try it with grass silage, which is the next most profitable crop according to the analysis that I've done. But according to the analysis that I've done, it's a long way behind. But we'll find out. So in the next video that you see in this series, we'll have a look at that. I want to have a look at lettuces. I think that could be quite profitable. But yeah, I don't think with 11 hectares of land and not doing anything else, you could maybe try and, but you'd need more money, I think. If you think, yeah, but if you're sitting there going, yeah, I could probably make that with cows. Your big cow shed is £700,000, and you've only got £1 million, and we only started with £1 million. Or if you go for this one, it's £500,000, and you only put 96 cows in there. So yeah, I don't think that there is a more profitable farming method than Poplar. I'm sure some of you are going to be frantically typing away, disagreeing with me. But for 15 hours of gameplay, that's £5.5 million, dollars or euros of profit. And that's profit. That's paid for the vehicles that we've leased, the land that we've brought, everything. The workers we've used. So, yeah, I think it's pretty darn good. We'll be back next time to do silage. For those of you that are frantically typing away, grass silage would be better. For those of you that are frantically typing away that soybeans or anything else like that is better, I refer you to my best crop prices video, or Farmer Cop's best crop prices video, or many of the others. Poplar is better. Yes, it's maybe not what you want to do, and I'm not saying that you should just farm Poplar. I'm not just going to farm Poplar, but it is really profitable. Anyway, I'll be back next time with Fields of Green. If you've enjoyed this, click the like button. I'm sure some of you are frantically typing comments anyway, but if you've got questions, stick them below. Thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members, and I'll see you next time for some more stuff. Bye.